Well, hello, everybody. This is TexAgs Rewind, and the fan show friends are here. Say hello, everybody.
Hola, howdy.
Hola, and howdy. Who said hola? You said hola?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I like that.
Yeah.
Spanish. Anybody else got any Spanish for us, son?
No.
No.
Which is
That's Spanish.
No, it's Spanish.
No. Chase, Sutton, Matt Browning, David Nuno here. On the show today, we did our Heisman Watch with Olin Buchanan. Hendon Hooker's number one, right, guys?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody's close. We would love to give the Heisman to Stephen McGee, our quarterback one, but he's not eligible. I think we would have gotten a vote.
We'll just vote him in for governor.
Yeah, for governor. There we go. Around college football, we like Aaron Torres here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's good.
I'm not getting the feedback I was hoping for. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Torres is good.
And the fan show. Yeah. Just watch.
We tried.
Yeah. Hola. Here, watch.
No interceptions.
OB. Let's start on number 5.
Yeah, not much change today from last week. Number 5 on my list, if my ballot was due today, which you only put 3, but I throw an extra 2, would be Max Duggan, the TCU quarterback. Again, started a key TCU victory. Passed for 280 yards, had 3 touchdowns in that Horned Frogs wins over Kansas State. Big win for them, by the way. Over the season, 1,871 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, and just one interception. Boy, would we like to see that kind of stuff around here. He's also rushed for 274 yards and 4 touchdowns on the year.
That's great.
Number 4 on my list, now this is one of the few changes I made. I dropped him down one. Bryce Young, the Alabama quarterback. He was efficient, not spectacular in that 36 victory over Mississippi State. Passed for 249 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's a nice game.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know if you'd call that Heisman worthy, but overall, he's passed for 1,906 yards and 18 touchdowns with only 3 interceptions, rushed for 137 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That's fantastic. I mean, his game against Tennessee, if they win that game, he's your leader the rest of the way.
Probably so. Even though, as we'll get to it, there's some other guys out.
Yeah.
How about Drake May, the North Carolina freshman quarterback? He's a redshirt freshman. They were off last week.
They did beat in week 1 the hardest team in football, Appalachian State. So I got to give him that too.
I got to give him that, and he played really well.
Yeah, he did.
But again, in that most recent game against Duke, in which they won, 380 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, 70 yards rushing. He leads the nation in total offense, 2,661 yards. He's passed for 2,283 yards and 24 touchdowns, thrown just 3 interceptions, and also rushed for 378 yards and 3 touchdowns. Hey, a quarterback that can run really enhances your offense, by the way.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Did not know.
C.J. Stroud, number 2, the Ohio State quarterback's on my list. Instrumental in yet another Buckeyes blowout. We see these almost every week.
Yep.
He's passed for 286 yards and had 4 touchdowns. Count on 4 touchdowns in that 54-10 thumping of Iowa. It was his 5th game in which Stroud has thrown for at least 4 touchdown passes.
Oh, I'll tell you after this. Go ahead. Let's do number 1.
Number 1, David Nuno's guy, Hendon Hooker.
You can call it Hendon. I don't mind.
Hendon Hooker, the Tennessee quarterback. Last week, passed for 276 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an easy win over Tennessee Martin. It's just a warm-up for Kentucky this week and Georgia next week. He's 5th in the nation total offense, 2,408 yards, passed for 2,093 yards, 18 touchdowns, has thrown 1 interception, rushed for 315 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Steven, what's bullcrap?
Look, this is a tough one. I'm not on the, when everything goes south, like let's just dump liquid lava on the whole program. But I've kind of seen enough of these quarterbacks coming off the field and getting berated by the head man. And especially when Connor went in there for his first snaps, his first real series. And you know what? Kid's going to make mistakes. He's 18 years old and he's playing in a pressure environment. He comes off the field and the coach is throwing his hands up. And I get it. There's frustration. There's a right way to do it. But for me, the first time a kid comes off the field, I want to overwhelm him with praise and tell him, how great he's going to be. And they have so much pressure on him, especially at that position, the scrutiny, it's hard enough to stand in the pocket with a bunch of big guys coming after you, making throws. that's not the time and the place for that, in my opinion. And I look, I'm not a head coach. I've never coached these kids. And so what do I really know? But it's getting harder and harder for me to watch that, in my opinion, that's bullcrap, but I could be wrong.
OB?
I'll tell you what's bullcrap, and I think McGee's going to like this. I've seen Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers get a lot of criticism for yelling at or talking about guys on their team. Tom Brady yelled at his offensive line for not playing well. Aaron Rodgers said maybe some guys shouldn't be out there playing as much because they're not getting their job done. Right? Isn't that what part of being a quarterback is leading a team? Absolutely. And you're almost like a foreman of why have we gotten so soft that we're offended when a quarterback yells at the guys trying to get them to play better? I think that's bullcrap. What do you think, Stephen?
I agree with you. And I think it sends the right message. You got a 44-year-old quarterback with gazillions of dollars, and he could be doing anything with his time that he wanted to, but he's choosing to be right there in that moment trying to win a football game. And it sends a message that I care about winning.
All right, let me throw this out at you, because I'm one that thinks Bama's going to lose another game or two. Okay? I believe it.
Sure.
They lose another game or two. All right, now they're 9-3. And the Jermaine Burton thing happens on the field. Does that cause a divide there for Bama? Because, this dude was playing 5 seconds later. Hey, man, don't do it again, all right? All right, cool, coach. See you there. That's exactly how it went down.
So I don't get the sense that it's divided their locker room in any way, but I will give credit, because a week ago I came on this show and you and I seemed to be the only people in America that understood the severity of what he did on video. And at best, it was grainy and you can't totally make out if it was a quote unquote punch as opposed to a push or a shove. But I just bring it up to say, I felt like I was living in the twilight world where the last, 5 years, understandably, it's been about Me Too. It's been about social, it's about equality. And you have this awful, terrible video, and nobody seems to care. So I bring it up, David, because it felt like a week ago when we talked, I was the only person, and you were the only person that understood the severity of it, or at least people in our industry weren't willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
But Nick Saban, go ahead.
No, I was interrupting, but go ahead. You were saying Nick Saban?
No, people are starting to hold his feet to the fire. And listen, I understand there's 13 fan bases in the SEC that thinks Nick Saban isn't held accountable for anything. But when he decided to play him on Saturday, there were some tough questions asked in the postgame. There were unsatisfactory answers as far as I'm concerned. And then there were more questions on the midweek call in the SEC last week as well. And so I don't know where this all ends, and I don't know if the Jermaine Burton gets played, but I don't think it's divided the locker room in any way. And by the way, let me say this. I don't get the sense, from my perspective, from the outside, that the suspensions this week at Texas A&M have divided the locker room in any way. As a matter of fact, I've seen tweets from Shamar Stewart, from Evan Stewart, from the big defensive tackle that was committed to Oklahoma in support of A&M. So I don't think there's division in the Alabama locker room over Nick Saban's dumb decision. And I don't get the sense, and you tell me, I don't get the sense there's division in the A&M locker room over whatever dumb decision it was that those three players made prior to the South Carolina game.
No, I don't see division. And what I'll say is, anytime a team is losing and losing a lot, you expect for people to be more upset and more vocal about it. And I think silence would have spoken louder than what we saw on social media from the Evan Stewarts, the Gabriel Brownlow Dindies that you saw out there. Is there anything that concerns you other than A&M being A&M, right? They keep making their own mistakes. But about Ole Miss coming here, anything concern you about them?
Well, quite a bit actually.
You got a little BAS, I get it.
Well, yeah, it's not Ole Miss. It has nothing to do with Ole Miss.
It's us.
A&M is the only person that's beat A&M this year. I'm sorry. I am absolutely. And I kind of at one point I was like, well, Mississippi State beat us, but
you made it easier. Not
you actually brought up, David Nuno himself actually brought up all the reasons why really we shot our own selves in the foot, and that score should have never been that way.
Yep.
And we should have beaten. We're the only team that's beaten us. Talent wise, we're more talented than Ole Miss. We got a home game at home. We're at home at night in Kyle Field. this should be one of those deals where we're going, yeah, we're gonna be great. We're gonna dominate. And I have zero faith that that's gonna happen.
Look at the opponent rushing yards.
Yeah, that's the thing. They got 2 weapons with Zach Evans and the other kid. They're gonna run
And Dart
on
can
us
run it
all
too.
day.
Hey.
And if we come out in 3-man front to stop the run, it's
We'll
just
make
gonna
a trade
be
at
maddening.
halftime for DJ Durkin for their DC.
Yeah. The
who I think mentored him.
A player to be named later, too.
I do love that Zach Evans is finally coming to Kyle Field after all the rigmarole
Is
and
he,
all
though?
the
Is he?
all the well, he's coming, but
I mean, he was hurt last week, and he's not even their best running back. That's the crazy part.
yeah. But I mean, after all of the recruiting, hoorah during his recruitment, and all the speculation, and I remember the boards. That was all that was talked about was Zach Evans. Zach Evans. And we got Devon A-Chain, which I'm thrilled with, obviously. But yeah, that's this team is very scary, very scary.
But if A&M doesn't shoot themselves in the foot, I think they should win, regardless of how many yards they rush for, because I think this team keeps teams away from the end zone for the most part.
But it's got to be taking advantage of Ole Miss's weakness, which is their defensive backs, which is throwing the ball down the field, which we have not been able to do all year, whether it be the offensive line or the quarterback. And we somehow have an affinity to throw it to the other team versus to our team.
Mm-hmm.
You almost have to take the Kentucky blueprint of their game plan against Ole Miss. I mean, that came down to a field goal at the end.
They gave that game away.
That they gave the game away. But you got to keep it low scoring. I mean, that's what everyone that has been in games with Ole. To your point,
We got
about
that part
them
taken care of, by
yeah.
the way. the low
yeah.
scoring.
To your point about them being scary, I mean, Ole Miss really doesn't scare me.
No, they don't scare me at all. It's A&M scares me about who they play.
I will say that they put up 2 quick touchdowns on you. This may be one of the first times you see Kyle Field have an exodus. That people just aren't
and
going
that
to
will
stick
be
around.
all over social.
That people just aren't going to stick around for it.
I mean,
Astros would be game 2. I mean, I don't think that's a huge factor. We've done that over a couple of years now, but it's just like who's going to want to stick around for another deficit?
The Boo Birds come out.
Do you guys remember a fast start over the last 2 years? South Carolina, obviously.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year.
Anything else in the last however many games?
Against a Power 5
In
team.
the last 19 games?
No, I don't remember it. Sorry, I don't remember it.
Yeah. I've seen okay starts.
Sure, this happened.
I've
just
seen a
can't remember
touchdown.
it.
All right, that's going to do it for the TexAgs Rewind. What do we tell them to do, Sutton?
Like, subscribe.
Wait. Chase wants him to finish.
Oh no, I mean, he just points at me because I'm the one that answers this every time.
All right, then
I want
you
Sutton-
go.
No, let him do
I want
it. This
Sutton,
is his
if Sutton
favorite.
was doing so good, go
All right,
finish.
you finish.
Like, subscribe, comment, retweet,
Share.
share.
all of that stuff. Yeah,
All
he did
that.
great.
Just watch. Damn
All
it.
right.
Sutton Turner,
Well,
he knows his stuff.
This is the
Come
end of
on.
the video. They've already watched, if they're still watching now. Right?
But you don't know what's next.
Hopefully it's the TexAgs video. Just watch them all. Thanks for watching, guys.